Karen here from stampingbees.co.nz, an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Welcome back, lovely to see you again. Today's video is about a technique called masking, where you can create backgrounds or just use certain letters or certain parts of stamps that you and mask off another part. A great technique to have up your sleeve, and I'd like to share that with you on how to do it. So let's get going. I'll flip you over and we will get started. I hope you enjoy. So welcome. Just a couple of samples. I'm just going to do a different little sort of format today. I am going to just show you some examples of masking and stamping, and I will show you some samples of cards where I have used this technique. Maybe I'll start off, I'll show you the cards first and then I can finish off showing you again. So I have used the deer from the Nature's Beauty here, and I have stamped the deer, created this mask and then stamped the background, which I will show you in a moment, the details of that, and created the deer looking sort of 3D now with the trees behind. And same again, I have used the deer here for this, and I have created a background with some pine trees and the branches only trees. And now I did watercolor the background for this one. You know how much I love creating backgrounds. So I did create a bit of a background for this one. And then I've also done this one, which I will show you today, stamping the vase and then masking it so that you can stamp the stems of the flowers without them showing. And lastly, I've just popped this up on Facebook. This card is using the Beautiful You girl, the Beautiful You dancing girl from the Beautiful You stamp set, and the pine tree from Winter Woods. And I've also used snowflakes and the silver behind it. But I stamped the girl, created the mask, and then stamped the tree. Now the other thing that you stamp, obviously not just patterns, etc. You stamp the words. So for this one, for example, for the stamp set that I used, the stamp actually reads, awesome at any age. I actually wanted you are awesome. So I just masked that off and stamped awesome, because that was all I wanted. With how I've actually cut that out, I could have just stamped the whole thing and then cut, but I will show you just for information purposes on how to just stamp the one word. So let me just pop that aside. So as I say, these are the finished products of some of the masking stamping that I've done. So I'm just going to go through with some samples for you. So let's start off with the deer, and we will stamp the deer in black. Let's give it a good ink. I hope everyone is getting their Christmas things underway. We've got about 5 weeks left and I have not done one little bit of Christmas shopping. So, mind you, I'm a bit like that. I really find that I don't like to think about that sort of thing until December rolls around. So I will wait until then. Okay, so I know some people shop all through the year, but yeah, I'm not that organised. I'm one of these people, if I've bought something for someone, I'll more than likely give it to them prior to the event because I can't wait to give it to them. So it's pointless me buying things ahead of time. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp. I don't really need to re-ink that again. So I'm just stamping that on here. Now this is some post-it paper, and this is post-it with sticky all over actually, which I quite like to use for this sort of thing. So the big tip in cutting out, and I'll just show you a little bit because I have one already. I won't bore you with showing you how to cut out the whole thing. But the big tip, now when you stamp on top of anything else, it will form a bit of a halo around that stamp. So what you're wanting to do, or the aim here, is to try and prevent that. So when you're cutting out your mask, you need to cut out on the inside of the black line. So see how I'm cutting that on the inside? And that hopefully will prevent the halo from occurring around your stamp. So I could just cut this one out. So we're cutting just the inside, just on the inside of the black line. And so it's just slightly smaller than the actual stamp that you've got on your page. And you'll see why in a minute. Such a great thing to do, to be able to create a 3D effect on your... I won't cut out the legs, so you'll just have to... I just don't want to bore you with snipping, as I'm sure you all know how to use a pair of scissors. Okay, so not completely done, but... So now you stick your cut-out piece. I'm sorry, you don't want to see my hair, I'm sure. It's so tempting all the time to lean over my work, because it is quite hard doing work from the side, but it's all right. Probably see the fact that I'm needing to go to the hairdresser, which I'm booked in tomorrow to get my roots done. And when I release this actually, it will be on stage. I will be attending on stage, which is our big conference that we have, Stampin' Up puts on. It's just fantastic. I'm so excited. I can't wait. So now let's do the background. I will just do some of these trees, these leafless trees, and I will stamp that in Smoky Slate. So this is really just giving you, as I say, the idea of how to do that. So give it a good ink. So these trees are from the Winter Woods. Beautiful stamp set, Winter Woods. And let me see, I think I've got it here. Yes, I have. So Winter Woods, beautiful Christmas tree, pine cone, pine leaf, and some leafless trees, which are just gorgeous. I love this pine tree. I think it's so cute. And the die for it is fantastic as well, because you can lift the little, it comes sort of with little bits cut out that you can lift all the way up and create quite a good effect. Okay, so we are just going to stamp on there. Now, really important to give it a good firm press around the deer, just to try and make sure that you don't see the white halo there. So I didn't press hard enough. But I'll show you what else I like to do is often go round my deer or whatever I've stamped with the grey highlight or with a grey blend pen, just to give that extra 3D depth. So that is not good with the halo. So not a very good sample, but let me see if I can just do... It's because I can't stand up, you see. So I'll do this again. At the moment, I would actually stand up and put a lot of downward pressure on that stamp. That's better. That's much better. There's always ways around things. So now, when we take that off, you have the deer in the foreground with the trees in the background. And you would just colour that in and add whatever you wanted to add to the rest of the stamp, the rest of the card. So as easy as that. Really, it isn't hard. It is such a good technique to use to really create a depth in your card for different options. And I will now show you the vase. Okay, so I won't show you about cutting things out again. So with this one, this masking technique is fabulous for this sort of thing, because when you're creating your vase, we pop the vase there. Now, you're going to be stamping the stems into there, or even if you did the stems first and then put the vase, there's a couple of ways you could do it. You could use tape and tape off the part that you don't want and stamp, or what I've done on this one is I have cut out a vase, popped that on top. So with this like this, you can also add watercolor or anything like that you want to do to your background, and it's not going to affect the vase that you've stamped. So you can do anything until that you want to take that off, and then it will not affect the stamp. So let's see. I will add this one. So I'm stamping that, and that is not showing because it is on here. There we go. Pop it back again because I do want to do another stamp. So we'll just add a couple of these, and then of course you can colour these in or do whatever you would like to do. I might just, the thing about photopolymer stamps, you can just move them around a little bit to suit, which is fantastic. I don't want it to go off there, so that does overlap a bit. Obviously I would organise that a bit better, but this is just to show you how to. Now, what happened to the stamp? Am I going to have one of these days? Now the stamp has disappeared. How bizarre is that? Okay, we won't be using that stamp because it's just dropped off, and I'm not going to bore you with trying to find it. How bizarre. That is very odd. Well, it was a stamp and it has disappeared. It decided it didn't want to be there. So let's do another one of these ones. Okay. There we go, and then you just peel off the vase and you can colour that in, etc., to make your flower arrangement. It'll be interesting when I find where that stamp is gone. I'm sure I'll probably have a wee giggle about that. So that's using the masking for that sort of thing. And as I say, you can also pop the tape. Now the tape that I'm referring to is actually matte finish removable tape. So this doesn't stick onto your papers or anything like that if you wanted to do mask something over with this prior to stamping. It's really good for doing this sort of thing, and it doesn't add too much sticky on anything. So I will mask this off. Now the most important thing to remember with this is to remember to remove the tape before you stamp. So you pop it on. So I've just lined that up there, and then I will stamp up. And as I say, you must not forget, see, if you stamped it now, you'd just get this big blob. I have been known to do that, don't worry. Plenty of times I have done that. And that's not straight, but that's fine. As I say, these are just sort of samples for showing you. So awesome, and it's meant that at any age is not been stamped, and you can add something else then if you so desire. So I have done that with all of these cards. So the two options are cutting your shape out, stamping and cutting out within the black line to stop the halo. So really give it a good, because it's just the extra thickness that causes the halo. So you do need to stand up and press down and give good firm pressure onto your stamp to make sure that you get it as close to your original stamp as possible, i.e. the deer. Or the other option is you use tape like this to take something out of a card. I did a Santa selfie card, and I didn't want the bird on the Santa's head from the Christmas crowd, so I just put the tape on Father Christmas's head over the bird and inked up, removed the tape, and then stamped, and Santa didn't have a bird on his head. So many ways you can do that. Just gives you extra ways of being able to use your stamps, that you're not limited to exactly what the stamp is showing. You can create all sorts of different backgrounds and options from all your stamps just with these couple of masking techniques. Nice, simple masking techniques that anyone can do. So just showing you again, that's the deer. Stamped the deer, popped on the mask that I had created, stamped the background, watercoloured, etc., and then coloured in the deer. I used the stamp masking that off for Awesome and created this masculine card. And the same with this one. Stamped the deer, created the background, and then coloured the deer in. And as I was saying, I do like to often go around my subject, my main focus, with a grey blend pen, just very, very thin, and it just gives that 3D effect on your project. And the vase, I didn't overlap the flowers on this one, and the stems going into the vase. So with this one, you could use the tape or make a mask for the vase, whichever suits your design. Masking off a bit of the stem, though, is limiting you on where you can put the flower. So just pure choice on that one. And once again, this one, stamped the girl, made a mask for her, then stamped the tree and the snowflakes, etc., and then coloured her in. So easy. So please ask any questions if anything is not quite clear. Have a go. It is so easy, and you will love what you're able to create with backgrounds, etc. Love to hear from you. Take care. See you next time.